We're recording. I would like to introduce you to Becks. Becks,
Yeah.
introduce yourself. Who are you and where are you from?
Right, so my name is Becks, yes, and I am from Birmingham, as you can tell by that wonderful accent, but not as thick, like not in the centre of Birmingham. It's like on the outskirts. It's not as thick as like, hello Zook, you're right. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but yeah.
I couldn't tell the difference between the two things you just said. They sounded exactly the same.
So I live in Birmingham, but I'm currently, well, not currently because we're on lockdown, but when I'm not here at my parents' house, I live in London, where I work for a Christian charity called Kick, big up Kick, where I am a dance and mentor coach. So I go into different primary schools and I work in one high school, teaching dance, doing mentoring with one-to-ones, and yeah, just getting alongside young people.
And some of those moves I taught you, obviously you're implementing those. Have you brought in a little bit of the yeah, it's an important dance move. You know, I obviously taught you everything you know.
Obviously, yeah, that is like my signature thing now.
Absolutely, too right.
Yeah, the legacy lives on.
Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so what I did with the other conversation I've had today and what I'm going to do with the other ones I've coming up, I've got the same 5 questions. And based on these 5 questions to start off with, dictates whether, you know, the people will either turn off and presume that you're completely irrelevant or listen in. So answer these really, really carefully. The first one, there's pressure on this. The first one, Coke or Pepsi?
I think Pepsi.
Right, okay, interesting. Just giving people a chance to log off. And they're
gone. Oh, God!
No, KFC or Mackie D's?
Mackie D's, definitely.
Really?
Yeah,
oh, Becks.
There's no hope here.
Oh, too me. Okay, Man City or Man U?
Oh, Man City.
Man City. You've literally gone so far 100% the other way from Sky earlier. Here we go. Hillsong or Bethel?
Hillsong.
Hillsong. You're still 100% different than Sky. Absolutely.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. He literally went the other way on every question. Tea or coffee? Number 5.
Well, this is the thing. I don't drink either. So, like, I don't drink tea or coffee. So, I don't think it's bad. Like, I can't say either or.
You know CJ?
Yeah.
I got her drinking coffee.
Oh gosh.
I did.
Well, I just never have drank it ever.
She had an iced coffee, and now I think she messaged me a while back saying that she quite likes coffee now.
Oh right.
There's still hope for you yet. That's what I'm basically saying.
Yeah.
Are you even an adult? Come on, what's going on?
No, I'm not. I'm still a child. Tea or coffee?
Oh, hot chocolate?
No, I'm not even.
No.
I had a traumatic time with hot chocolate, and it just scarred me.
I forget what we were about to talk about. What was your traumatic time? No, we won't go there. No, I'm not. I don't want you in tears by the end. You know, telling me about some scarring moment when you had a hot chocolate.
Well, yeah, it wasn't that traumatic, but like it put me off hot chocolate. So I was like, okay, cool.
I really want to know. Maybe we'll finish recording.
Okay.
How can you be traumatized by hot chocolate?
I know, yeah.
Right, I knew this ought to be trouble. Right, so we're gonna try and notch it up. We're gonna try and be serious, Becks. All right, try.
Okay, right.
Right, tell us a little bit. So you said you work for Kick. Tell us a little bit about your life at the moment. You work for them or you volunteer for them? It says on the website you're an intern. What does that mean?
Oh gosh, right, okay. Well, I was an intern last year, so that meant, which means I'm obviously not one now, but that meant that I would, for like 5 days a week, like every day, I would shadow a coach. So like I would shadow a dance coach. So it meant that I was like learning kind of on the job. of like how Kick works and what Kick does. So Kick as an organisation, they have dance coaches, sports coaches and mentoring coaches, and all across London they go into different high schools, primary schools, they work with different churches, different church groups all across London. So yeah, it's quite fun actually. And the reason like it's called Kick and not Kick London was because we didn't have to, but we decided, not me, the CEO decided, me, Becks, decided to change the name. No. Decided that if we were to go like national, so say like go to like a different city, so like Manchester or Birmingham or Liverpool or whatever, then they could have their own Kick there. So instead of it being Kick London Manchester or Kick London somewhere else, it would just be Kick Manchester or Kick Liverpool or whatever, wherever the city was.
Sounds a bit violent, Kick Liverpool, doesn't it?
Yeah. Kick Liverpool, gosh.
Now, it's separate from YFC, Youth for Christ, but it was kind of born out of it. Is that about right?
Yeah. So the founder of Kick, he did a gap year with Youth for Christ. So he did a football gap year, and from that he was like, right, I want to start something like this with regards to football, but in London, focusing like specifically on London. And so that's how it kind of came about. But because we still go to the Youth for Christ national conference, which is held like every January, so we're still like a part of that. We're like an external part, so like we don't have the Youth for Christ uniform, but we still work for them in the sense of like we're an external part of them.
Cool. So you're still in contact with the Youth for Christ guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Fair enough. So that's what you do when you're in London, and you know a full coach. So their website's out of date, is it?
Yeah. I don't know why it's still there.
It's because everyone's been furloughed.
Yeah. They need to up their game.
Which not that I have. I'm still working. It brings me to your next question. So you got furloughed and you moved back in with your parents in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Did everyone go, "You sound so posh"?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, like I think I've just slipped back into my old talking because nobody really like said anything. But when I came back the first time, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you definitely sound like you come from London. Like you speak like there. What's happened to Brummy Becks? Like all this stuff." And I was like, "Okay."
It's still there. Trust me.
Yeah.
As soon as you logged on, you were like, yeah. Funniest moment ever was when I pretended to translate for you in the middle of a church service.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, I remember that. It was
I am a comedy genius, and one day I will have my own show. You can come on, and I can translate for you there.
Yeah, do it. This is that.
Absolutely. But seriously, it's been a funny old time. Definitely over lockdown, and within the last couple of weeks, we've had everything sort of kicking off in terms of the Black Lives Matter movement. I wanted to dabble into that one a little bit. Now in Norwich, it's a really white area. So actually, I think a load of the guys that I normally talk to may not have encountered racism in the same way that some others do. So I just wondered whether you've got anything sort of you could share with us or tell us about of your personal experience of racism, either from yourself, family, friends, anything like that would help us to sort of empathise maybe with other people's situations.
Yeah. So there's a couple actually that happened to me and my two older brothers. So when I was in high school, there was this specific TA that would be working with a one-to-one in my class, And I remember I was in science, and it was just an ordinary day, like nothing out of, like nothing had happened, like it was just fine in a science lesson, random. And she kept calling me a different name, a name of another like mixed race girl in my year. And so at first I was like, okay, maybe she's just like got us mixed up, like, you know, because we all hung out together, like maybe she's just thought, oh, that was, you know, whatever. But then it kept happening, like she would call me this other girl's name to the point where I had to tell her, like miss, like that's not my name, like I'm not who you think I am. So I was like, okay, like this is a bit weird. And I remember going home and telling my mum and saying, Mum, like, this is the situation, like, this teacher keeps calling me, this TA keeps calling me, like, another, like, black child's name. What do I do? And so she was able to tell me, actually, yeah, this is not on, because she's basically saying, you all look the same. And so, like, she was saying, you know, you look like this other person, when actually, like, our skin tones were completely different. Like, we looked completely different. But just because we hung out together, she thought, oh, I'll just call her the other child's name and, you know, it will be fine. So we had to, like, address that in a way that was, like, actually, like, you can't carry on, keep calling me another child's name, because, like, it's just not, we don't look anything alike. And the worst of it is, like, she had a twin sister, so it wasn't as if, like, she was like, I was part of them, like they were twins and I was just like another black child. But she thought, oh well, you all look the same, you all like kind of behave the same, you hang out together. And so she just kept getting us mixed up. So I was like, well, how can you say, oh, call me a different name, but yet I managed to get your name right? Like, I just didn't get it.
So
like,
weird.
I don't.
Yeah, I just, that's not the first time I've heard stuff like that, actually. I was watching a chat quite similar to this between some people, and it's quite common. You know, that it's just a case that it's not even sort of like, well, all black people look the same. People just can't be bothered to learn.
Yeah.
And get to know different people. Just I never heard that until the other day, and then now that's like the second or third time I've heard it in a week. It's really weird. So has there been sort of lots of little things that have happened sort of to yourself, or have you ever had anything sort of bigger or scarier happen?
No, it's like lots of little things. Like, I haven't really experienced racism like hardcore, because like I think just like the school that we went to, like it was predominantly white. So I've always been in like a predominantly white area. So that was just the normal for me. And so for her to do that, that took me back, even though when you look at it, it's like, actually, that's like a minor thing compared to other things. But that was kind of like firsthand, that is what happened to me. But yeah, there's been many kind of issues where my mom has had to deal, especially with my brothers, have had to deal with like racism on a bigger scale. So it's like, actually, okay, this is something that we might not face like it hardcore racism, but it's still like, actually, you're being racist. Like, that is just blatantly simple.
Have you experienced any in London at all?
You know what? I haven't actually. I haven't experienced any kind of racism there, and I think it's just because like it's a more multicultural area. So like, obviously you have like, there's loads of different races there. So like, a person who appears to be white like might start talking and they're Polish, or you know, might start talking and they're French. So I like, when I commute, especially going to different places, I get to see like, okay, actually, is like, what is that person like? And so you have to kind of take it back and say, like not all white people are English. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you know, totally. I was watching a lecture from Akala the other day, and he was saying, you know, he comes from a Caribbean background.
Yeah.
And people have a tendency just to presume that black is black. And
yeah,
you've then got some people from a Nigerian background. You know, he said either someone, you know, thought he was Aborigine at one point. I think that, you know, so, you know, culture-wise, you can be from anywhere, and there's going to be a massive difference between the Caribbean and Nigeria, say.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, we're just like chucking it all in, and the whole idea that your skin tone has that bigger say over who you are. As you said, I mean, I went on holiday to Egypt, and the Egyptian locals sort of play this little game where they try and guess where you're from. And they've learnt, you know, sort of 5 or 6 little phrases from different countries, and they sort of see if they can try and guess where you're from. And I had a number of people, you know, I was really blonde at the time. I had a number of people think I was Scandinavian.
Oh, wow.
Or German. Now, I do have a bit of German in me, actually. My grandmother's German.
Oh,
So some of the locals would sit there and go, "Ooh, is he English? Is he German? Is he Norwegian?" or something like that. You know, there's massive differences in culture outside of skin tone.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
So London must be a very different place.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like when with my town, like here, with my area here, there's like all white people, like like in each house there's just like, okay, white couple there, like white people there, like white people there. But then when I went to London, I was like, oh, okay, like there's fewer white people, but like there's loads of different like ethnics or like different, what is it, nationalities, that it's just like, okay, I don't feel like I'm so alone. Does that make sense? Like I don't feel as if I stand out as much, because it's like, well, you've got the same skin, like you've got the same skin tone as me, or you sound the way I do, kind of thing.
But I think outside of Birmingham, I mean, you, I presume, grew up in what it sounds like, sort of like quite white area of Birmingham. I've always thought as Birmingham potentially as being quite multicultural. It certainly wasn't where you were then.
Well, so where I live, like, is about, let's say, like half an hour from the centre of Birmingham. So like because I live on the outskirts, the centre of Birmingham is quite multicultural, but like where I live is predominantly white, like white school. Like there's very few black people or mixed race people around this area and who went to my school. Like there was only a handful of us, like throughout the whole school, that were either mixed race, Asian, like black. Like there was literally only a handful throughout that, like the entire years of like 7 to 12 or whatever. So it's mad.
Did you, so when you went into the city centre, which I presume you did, only half an hour away, did it feel different?
I guess so, yeah, because I felt as if like, okay, I don't really stand out as much. Like because I was not the only black person, it felt like, okay, this is cool. Like I can mix well in here. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I can, you know, not stand out as much, but still be myself. So yeah, so it was different, but I think the fact that I made a decision when I was thinking about what colleges I wanted to go to, because I didn't want to stay at school. That was kind of like never my plan. When I was thinking about colleges, I said to my mom, actually, I don't want to go to a college around here, because there were colleges that are really close to my house, but I thought, actually, I don't want to go to like an all-white college or like a, you know, and it be like school. Like again, like I didn't want to be kind of like a minority group of people who, okay, at lunchtimes, like only the black people hang out together. Like I didn't want that. So I was like, right, okay. And so I made the decision to go to a college that had loads of different races, loads of different nationalities, and somewhere that actually I can just express who I am and not be like, oh, well, why is that black girl acting like that in a college like this? Or for like, just an example. So I think from that time of like going to that college, it's then enabled me to be like, okay, when I go into the city of Birmingham or when I go to London, it's like, actually I can just be myself and know that it's all right.
Fair enough. Have you ever experienced racism in church at all?
Let me think. I haven't personally, not that I can recall. I haven't personally felt like you're being racist, but my mum my mum has experienced racism in the church that we are currently, I say currently, but like the church that we are still part of today.
Yeah.
She a comment was made to her, and the person that said it was a white man, and he made the comment like it was something along the lines of like, oh, you're just, that's, you should just be doing that because you're black, or something, like something was mentioned about her race, and she was very upset about that, like clearly, and so she had to then deal with that in a godly way, in a godly woman way, but actually go about it in the right direction to say, okay, like, if that's how you want to behave, me and my husband are gonna draw back from this church, because she was ready to leave the church and just say, actually, you know, there's like, what's the point in putting up with that when I could go somewhere else and be accepted just for who I am. And so when she told me about that, the person, she went to the vicar, and the vicar then had a word with that person, but the person who said the comment didn't even say, you know, directly sorry to my mom. It came through the vicar of like saying, oh, you know, this person has said sorry, but he didn't say it to her face. So she then had the opportunity to be like, actually, okay, like, it's, the matter's been dealt with, I can leave it, or actually no, like, I want an apology face to face, like, what you did was wrong. So she kind of took the approach of, okay, we'll just let it die down, it's been dealt with correctly, and just left it. But yeah, no, I haven't, not that I can recall, I haven't like had that happen to me.
Did you say you got two older brothers? You say they're both older?
Yeah, two older ones, yeah. The baby.
And they've experienced sort of a little bit more than yourself. Why do you think that is?
I think partially to the school that they went to. I think the school was known to be racist and to be quite a bullying school. But I think, like, for them growing up as like black males, I think they had it harder than I did, because before we lived where we do now, we lived in Plymouth. And so there again was like the town that we lived in, the village or whatever, that was predominantly white as well, and we were the only black family then as well. So they experienced firsthand, actually, like, racism at its finest. I remember, well, because I was little, I don't really know what happened there, but my mum has talked about times when, you know, that someone said something to them, they've retaliated, but they've been the only one to get in trouble. Or there's been a fight at school from something that another boy has said to them, but they've got in trouble because they retaliated because what they said was racist or, you know, offensive.
So they felt like they didn't have any support, and the racism that they were sort of talking about just wasn't being taken seriously.
Yeah, no. Yeah, the numerous times my mum had to go up to the school and defend them and say, actually, no, like, this kid started it. My kid's not to blame. My kid was just defending up for themselves. So yeah, the school, they never got any support from the school, and it, like, yeah, it just not ruined them, but it had a huge part to play in the fact of like, okay, they're both black. Like, my oldest brother would always, you know, protect my younger brother, and so it was very much like them two against the world kind of thing.
Oh, interesting. And what are you doing with your time now that you've been furloughed?
Sick. So I'm learning the piano. Well, the keyboard.
The most brummy thing I've heard you say. I'm learning the piano.
The keyboard.
No, stick with piano. So, how have you? Are you learning it yourself, or does anyone in the house sort of know how to play and they're teaching you? What's the
situation? I'm learning off YouTube. Right. So it's actually been really good. So I've learned like I've learned about 4 slow, easy songs that I could be like, bing, like that I can play. But the woman that I stumbled across, she's a Christian. So I was like, get in. I didn't even know. I didn't even know.
So you'll be leading worship soon then, yeah?
It'll be like this, boom, and into the sermon.
Can you sing? I've never heard you sing. I don't know. Are you all right?
No.
No.
I'm like, yeah. Actually, no, I can't sing. Like, I get my mum to do it. I'm like, Mum, just sing this. Stop playing.
So anything else at all, or have you just been learning piano from YouTube?
So I've been learning piano. I've stepped up on my fitness.
Right.
So I've got my own fitness like schedule or routine, whatever you want to call it. So that's quite cool. So what do I do? So I do running.
Good.
I keep having flashbacks actually of like, so I saw like your video of like when you did your 10k or whatever it was.
I'm doing one a day. Every single day I'm doing 10k. Oh, you went then? Every day. When we're finished today, I've got to go and do 10k, and then so 29 10ks in a row, and then a half marathon on the last day.
Oh my gosh, I'm done. No. What the heck?
It's going to be 310,000 meters.
Flipping it, that you've got to run.
Well, by the end of it, I look a bit like Gollum. But yeah, I'm running it every day. So it's 40, 48, 49 minutes a day, every day in June.
48 minutes it takes you to run 10k?
Yeah, how long does it take you?
That's sick! That is so quick! Oh my gosh!
I did one the other day. I really felt it. So 2 days ago I did 46:50, and then the next day I was wrecked. Walking around like a Playmobil person. So yeah, I'm going to go out again tonight, and it's absolutely honking it down with rain out there. So
are you going to do it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I have. That's the idea of a sponsored event. I've got to do it every.
Oh my gosh!
So are you running 5k, 10k? What are you?
Well, this is the thing, right? I ran 10k once, right? So I built up to it, and I was like, right, that's it. Let's just go for the 10k. Let's just smash it. So I did. But then I hurt my foot like afterwards. So I was like, right, okay, I have to build up to it again. So I'm currently building up to the 10k again.
What time did you get for your 10k?
Oh, like it was like an hour and something. It was like an hour and 25 minutes.
It's all right. You've got shorter legs than me.
Wow, yes, that means I've got to run quicker.
I mean, I'm in my 40s, but don't worry about that, hey? Well done for getting to 10k. So many people quit before it anyway. So get yourself back up to 10k, and then send us a little video of you trotting over the line. Yay!
Flipping it, yeah. Gosh.
Yeah. So on the 1st of July, that's it. I'm done with running for at least a couple of days.
At least a couple of days.
I'm going to be in such good nick.
Yeah.
It seems a bit odd to then waste it by letting myself, I've lost quite a bit of weight, so
that'll be sick.
I'm going to shave the beard off, and then everyone can see that there's no longer a selection of chins under there.
I love it. Oh, that's sick. That's so cool.
It sounds like at least you're not sitting around just watching Netflix, which
no, literally. My rest day is Sunday, and literally that's the only time. So like I do running. And then I do an ab workout, like after my run. Mm. Then I learn the piano for about 2 hours. Then I go on like a big bike ride, like, what was it the other day? Like yesterday I did like 18 miles.
That's good.
Which like doesn't seem that far, but I was like, woo! Going up this massive hill, like, I'm going to die. I'm actually going to die. So I did that, and then when I get back,
it with your hands, you're doing it wrong.
Oh yeah. So it's been
busy.
This furlough, like, has actually. I know for some people it's been quite tough.
Yeah.
And been like quite hard to, you know, not go out or not do what they've had to do. But to be honest, like I've quite enjoyed it in the sense of like I'm now like able to focus on myself, like I'm doing kind of what I want to do. But I think like the hardest thing for me is when I've gone like to see people to like social distance and like not been able to give them a hug. Like that's been the most hardest thing because I'm quite like a natural huggy person. And so for me to not be like, okay, bye, or like, hey, it's like, actually, this is real. Like, this coronavirus thing is real.
So
Yeah.
a lot of my youth group are sort of young girls. They will also probably be missing that closeness they have with their friends. What advice would you give to them as a wise old lady of the church, in essence, as someone who's been through it all, but is also experiencing furlough? What advice would you give to sort of teenagers struggling with the uncertainty of it all, but also B, losing, you know, you've always been quite good on the phone, young people, but now that's all you've got. What would you say to them?
I think first of all, like, don't feel guilty for like feeling sad about that. Like, don't beat yourself up and think, oh, you know, I shouldn't be feeling sad about not giving some of my friends a hug, because it's like, actually, this is quite a challenging time. But I think what I'd say is like communicate as much as you can. Obviously, if you can social distance meet, then do that. Or but I'd say like get outside or like get some fresh air, so like keep your mind like active. So even if that's like going for a walk like down to the end of your road and back, just making sure like you're getting out and being active, because like fresh air does just help clear your mind. So like if you're staying in, like if they're staying in all the time, then yeah, I'd say like get out, even if it's just for 5 minutes, like just get some time, put some time in where you're just like not with your phone and just in the fresh air. But yeah, I think, you know, like just like go easy on yourself, because everyone is handling this lockdown in different ways. So if it seems like, oh, your friends are doing kind of fine without you but you're struggling, actually like don't be ashamed to say, okay, I'm actually really struggling with this, because I've had to learn actually it's okay to say, like, at first I was like, oh yeah, you know, this lockdown, okay, it's fine, like that's it. But then when I started to see people, I was like, actually this is really difficult, and like it's really hard to not hug somebody when you say hello or you say goodbye. So it's like it's awkward then, because you're like, okay, bye, like, do you know what I mean? Like there's no real end. So yeah, so I'd say like get out, just get some fresh air. But I say like, yeah, just focus on yourself, like find something that you like to do, like to keep your mind active, whether that's, you know, perfecting a skill or learning a new skill. Like it can be anything, and even if you just do it once a week, like that one time is your time to be like, okay, I can do this, or I can perfect this or whatever, and over time you'll see like results.
Do you have like a favorite Bible verse or a passage or a book or something that if you get really stuck, you just go, I'm just going to hug myself in this?
Yeah, sick. Right, okay, I've got my Bible right here.
And I didn't tell you that question was coming, so
yeah, that's good. That's
extra
good.
points for having your Bible to hand.
And it is actually my Bible. That was a random book. Okay, so let's have a look. Actually, so I do like sorry, this is like going off topic, but I do a daily devotion, and I have this book that said that it's word for you. So I like, and it's basically like a daily devotion like every day, and so I've been doing this, and on like one of the days like in the past, it said highlight highlight a verse and say it to yourself like every day. So the verse is, Psalm 19, verse 14. And it says, may these words of my mouth and this meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. So I said that to myself and I was like, okay, what does that really mean? But that was just like one of my, there's loads of verses that I can just say, like, actually, this is a good one. Psalm 6, it says, 1-2, it says, Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger or discipline me in your wrath. Have mercy on me, Lord, for I am faint. Heal me, Lord, for my bones are in agony. So that, I think I'm going to go with that one. That's a better one. Well, to be fair, they're both good. But that just says, actually, like, it's okay to not be okay. Like, it's okay to be like, actually, you know what, I'm having a rubbish day, but like God's always there with you. So like, even if you go to him like every day, oh, I'm not feeling well, or oh, I don't like this, like he's never gonna get bored of hearing you like say those things. But like, yeah, just being honest with yourself, being honest with like the people around you, and just being honest like in front of God, and just saying, you know what, God, like, okay, yesterday I had a really great day, I went out, I did this, but today it's raining, I'm not feeling too good. And like, it's okay to be like that. But yeah, like the Lord like will work things like for the good. So like, don't worry and think, oh, you know, I haven't, or like, for example, I haven't read my Bible today, or it's like, actually, like, you just do what you got to do, like take each day as it comes, like it's all right, kind of thing.
I like the fact that with the Psalms, a lot of people think they're all, you know, 150 chapters of praise, but actually about a third of them are having a bit of a grumble. So I love the fact that you know David and some of the other guys who wrote Psalms just like, right, I'm having a horrible one.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
You know, because it gives us sort of permission to have a grumble as well, you know, and we can sit there and go, I mean, the one, I can't remember if it's 88 or 89 off the top of my head, but it ends, you know, darkness is my only friend.
Oh, wow.
And you're just like, oh, you know, but sometimes you feel like that, and you're just like, you know, anyway, it cheers up a little bit in the next psalm, but you know, there are a third of the psalms, third of the psalms are called lament psalms, or basically a bit ranty, you know, so that's quite good. So there's my theology degree coming.
I did not know that. Wow.
There we go. There's one, so give them a good read.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to end up with probably the most important question. I didn't give you this beforehand either, because I want this to be you know, a totally off the cuff moment. And actually, you've experienced some of the youth work I've done, and so you might have come across the fact that the majority of my youth work is done with hats and wigs, massively so. So my question to you, and it's a really, really important one, is if you had to, for the next year, either wear fish hat. You can wear it sideways if you want. It goes like that, you know, or you can go like face on fish. That's so for the next year, you either have to wear fish hat or political leader wig.
Oh my God.
Right, and you can pick which leader of a country this makes someone look a bit like. But I think we know two leaders of countries. You know, one who does this with his hands. So you've got, for a whole year, you've either got to wear my wig or my hat. What's it going to be, Becks?
Flipping egg. Yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking in terms of like practical. So like, if I'm going to work and I'm trying to teach, I don't think the fish hat would be very applicable, because the whole time we would just be giggling and laughing.
Is it not anyway?
Yeah, but like you could get away with it. So I think I'm gonna have to go with the hair. Yeah. But like, I would never be able to fit it over my hair unless like it was straight or like plaited or something.
Put it over the bobble, right? and then like go for a scrunchie or something over the wig.
These are my roots. Oh, my roots are coming.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful. So literally, and I said I asked the same thing to Sky earlier. He went fish hat. You have answered all of the 6 silly questions totally differently.
Wow.
What a multicultural world we live in.
Yeah, literally.
Couldn't be more different.
What did you choose? Tea or coffee?
He's a coffee person.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, the fact you went for neither, you were never going to get that right. But apart from that, the others, yeah, he was Bethel, Man U, KFC, and Full Fat Coke. So, what a strange and unusual world we live in, eh?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I thought, oh yeah, Coke, and then I thought, actually, I don't like the way it feels on my teeth. So like Pepsi.
I don't like the way it makes it sound like a shawl. I don't like the way it feels.
I don't like when I'm drinking a can of Coke. I'm like, oh, like my teeth feel all weird. Like,
You have got a great big grin, so
yeah.
you don't want that to be Coke stained, do you? Really?
Well, yeah, it is true. It's true.
Becks, it has been 100 giggles spending a bit of time with you. We miss you. If ever we're allowed to go and visit places again, you've got to come to Norwich, Becks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, that would be great. I need my nails doing, Peter.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Just because
we weren't going to talk about that, Becks. Okay. I'm going to stop recording in a minute.
Okay,
Take care. It's been lovely chatting to you. And I knew it was going to be a right old laugh. So
yeah, definitely.